In this video, we're going to take a look at basic rigging. Now, when we talk about rigging, this is the art of adding controls to animate an object. Now, we can rig just about anything. It could be a car or it could be a character. Adding those controls makes animating easier. Very infrequently do we want to select the actual joint and apply animation to it. We'll typically add some extra control handle on top of it and move that control handle instead. Let's take a look at how we would do this up here at the crow's head. I'm going to select this NURBS circle that I've added, and I'm going to use this NURBS circle as a handle to move the joints of the crow. Let's just frame that up, and I'm going to take the NURBS circle and let's rotate it 90 degrees so that it's positioned a bit more upright there, but I'm going to lift that up as well, and I'll snap it to that top joint. That way I can see that handle very clearly, and it's not hidden within the character's geometry. I'll add an IK handle to the head, and for this we're going to add a simple handle. We'll use the single chain handle. We're already set up there, single chain solver. And we'll click the root and then the very top joint, and that SC handle is then added. Now, with the IK handle here, in order to move the head, I get transforms. Let's just undo that. But when I originally start, I have transforms on that IK handle. And this is another reason why we use a separate control. I'm going to select the circle and let's freeze the transforms on the NURBS circle. That's going to reset everything back to 0. This is where I want it to be. I can now take the IK handle and we'll attach it to that NURBS circle by using a couple of constraints. To add a constraint, I'm going to select my handle first, my NURBS circle handle that is. We've got two handles out here, so we're going to grab the NURBS circle control handle, and I'll hold Shift and then select the IK handle. Then we'll go to Constrain, and we'll add the very first constraint, a point constraint. Let's open those tool options there. The constraint axis we want to set to all, and by default it is. This way it will control it in all three axes. And then we have maintain offset. Now I'm going to go ahead and check this. However, there really shouldn't be an offset here at all since we've snapped it to the top joint. The IK handle also sits at the top joint. But I'm going to do it just as an extra precaution to make sure that that IK handle doesn't pop or move at all. We'll choose Add. And now when we have a constrained object, it will get highlighted in blue, and those channels do get locked out. I'll select just my control handle now for the head, and we'll hit W. And with that point constraint on there, it'll move the IK handle. Let's undo that, and let's add another one. I'll select my NURBS circle, hold Shift, select the IK handle, go to Constrain, and then we'll add an orientation constraint. This will control the rotation of that single chain IK handle. Again, I'm going to open the options. That maintain offset, we'll go ahead and check that. And now it becomes important because if you see here, the IK handle actually does have rotation value on it. This is because of the solver taking effect over that IK handle. So now it becomes critical that I maintain that offset. If I don't maintain the offset, the IK handle will flip. It will automatically rotate in order to match the rotation values of my control handle, which we know since we froze the transforms are set to 0. Therefore, the IK handle will snap to 0. This could, in effect, then take the crow's head and flip it around. We don't want that. So we'll maintain that offset. That'll prevent any movement there. And let's choose Add. Added nice and cleanly. I'll select the head handle. And now when I hit Rotate, I can then rotate, let's grab it in the middle here, that head. And then we can go to W and translate it in order to get our full range of motion. Now, to return it back to its default neutral position, this is real easy because we know that control handle started at 0, unlike the IK handle that actually had values in there that we cannot freeze and remove. I can select the head control handle and simply type in 0 and hit enter, and that will return that control handle to its neutral position. Okay, I'm going to add another control handle here, and we'll start from scratch. I'm going to choose Create, NURBS Primitives, and we'll choose Circle, but I'm going to uncheck Interactive Creation there first. And we'll choose Circle. And let's add this handle to the root of our skeleton here. I'll snap it to that root joint, and I'll scale it so that I can see it. And I want to make sure that I scale it so I can see it in all my axes here. It should be a comfortable scale. Let's rename it. We'll name it Body, and then we'll freeze those transforms. And we'll also delete any history that might be on there. And now for this one, I want the handle to control both the orientation as well as the joint's position. Instead of adding point and orient constraints, I'm going to add a parent constraint. Now the difference here is that when you add an orientation constraint, it'll rotate that joint locally. It does not take into account their position in space. When we parent an object together, we know that the object will rotate around another object if we put any type of offset on there. So we're looking for that type of control here, and I'm going to select my handle, then select the root joint, go to Constrain, and we'll choose Parent. I'll open that up. We'll maintain offset. We know that we have offsets on the translation, although the rotation of that joint should be 0, but we'll just keep that on. And choose Add. Nice and clean. And now I can select that handle and rotate that joint. Or we can translate it. And we'll return that back to its default position there. Let's take a look at the feet here. And I already have a leg handle, but when I move it, we can see that the toes want to stay fixed to their IK handle as well as their individual control handle. And these have already been constrained. And we still need one extra one here for this other toe. So I'm going to select this circle here. I'll just do Control D to duplicate it, and we'll do Snap to Point and just drag this one over. But I still need an SC handle there, so we'll create that real quick. We'll go to Skeleton, IK Handle Tool, Single Chain, and let's select those joints. And then we'll snap that so that it's right on the IK handle. And instead of doing a constraint here, I'm going to just take the IK handle and make it a child of our NURBS circle. Again, I want to make sure I freeze those transformations, and we'll also delete any type of history. And I'll select that handle, hold Shift, and select the circle. Notice that the order is different here for a parent-child relationship as opposed to when we're adding a constraint. We do it the opposite way. I'll hit P on the keyboard, and now that IK handle is now parented, and then I can move my NURBS circle to control the IK. We can do this same exact thing now to have the foot handle pull those toes up with it so that he's not clawing at the ground every time, as you can see that gets distorted, that we lift this leg up. So all I need to do is select the handles, being the NURBS circles. We'll grab all of those, and then I will hold Shift and select the leg handle last and hit P to parent that up. And now the foot and toes all move together. And let's just check our other leg over here, and we want to do the same thing. Now, if we're having a problem and we keep selecting a joint, we can turn the joint mask on so that we don't select those. It makes it a little bit easier to grab those. And let's parent all that up there. And now ultimately, I want to have just one single handle move all of the other handles. So I'll take all of these and parent them to this root handle. Now when I grab the root, I can move all of those handles right with it. It looks like we've got one little stray vertice out there. We can just select that and we'll hammer that guy into place. And then I can grab that root and just zero that to get it back into its neutral position.